I was born in the fall of 1942, several months after the Nazis had begun deporting Jews from the Netherlands. My mother and father were unable to go into hiding when my mother was pregnant with me. It wouldn't be until 2 months after the end of the war that they would go into hiding. At that point, my mother would give me to the Dutch resistance. I would never see them again. I first lived with a group of 4, a mother, a father, their daughter, and a young Jewish woman they were hiding. I lived with them for 6 months until we were betrayed to the Nazis. The Nazis came with a vehicle, a truck, meant to take the 4 of us away for questioning. But that day, a niece was visiting, and we couldn't all fit. As the Nazis came in and they took away the family that I was staying with, they told the niece, they said, "Stay here, we will come back for you." And then they left. A neighbor, a founder of one of 4 Dutch resistance movements, saw what was happening, and he, along with another member of the resistance, came to the door. They pounded and pounded on the door. They said, "We are with the Nazis. You must let us in. There will be consequences." So she opened the door. As the Dutch resistance stepped in, they said, "We are with the resistance. We are not here to hurt you." They said, "We are going to tie you up. When the Nazis come back, tell them that there was nothing that could have been done." So they went through the house, they grabbed twine, and they wrapped it around her and a chair, tying her up. Once that was done, they came and they picked me up, and then we left. See, the other resistance fighter was a student at Amsterdam University, and that night they took us to an annex there. We stayed there overnight with both of the fighters, and then the next morning I was taken on a train to Utrecht. I stayed in Utrecht for the next 2.5 months until the entire system that transported and hid Jewish children in the area would be betrayed. Yet again, the Nazis come with a large vehicle and they take me away. And we go from house to house, finding and taking these children. And yet again, the Dutch resistance saw what was happening. As the Nazis were inside another house, taking away another innocent child's life, they broke in the window of the truck and they took me away. We were wheeled up north, from fishing village to fishing village, trying to find somebody who would take me. See, I was sick. I was thin and weak with sores all over my body. All I had was a diaper and a wet towel wrapped around my body. Nobody wanted me. Eventually, at 14 months old, I ended up with the Bakker family. I would stay with them until the end of the war. It wouldn't be until 7 months after the end of the war that somebody knew that I existed. My uncle from South Africa heard about me, and he came to the north of Friesland to find me. It would be months and months of long legal battles, courtrooms, lawyers, paperwork before he would gain custody of me. But even then, I wasn't free. See, I didn't have any papers, which was great for the resistance, but that meant that I couldn't get a passport. That meant that I was stateless. It wouldn't be until May of 1947 when I could finally go with my uncle to South Africa. That's where I would stay for the next several decades. An interesting thing about surviving the Holocaust is that it makes you recognize the seeds of hatred before they even sprout. I was aware of the apartheid system several years before many of my peers, and I spent much of my time and energy protesting it. Eventually, I had to leave my beloved South Africa. I knew that I couldn't stay in a country of oppressors when I had experienced being the oppressed. I've lived a good life in America. I was an accountant, I have good friends, and I've spent many years telling my story. I was lucky, but it shouldn't have taken so much luck for me to survive. But it did. And it also took people who stood up. Will you? I leave you with this. You must stand against hatred, and we must stand for our fellow man.
That was an outstanding rendition. I commend you and all the others for all the hard work you've put into this and for ensuring that our histories are kept alive. The Holocaust was a unique experience in world history. It wasn't simply a genocide. The world has had its share of genocides both before and unfortunately even after the Holocaust. Mm. This was state-sponsored. It was systematic. It involved the use of gas chambers on a mass scale and so on. And it's something that people need to learn about. It cannot be forgotten. And thank you so much for sharing this history.
Thank you. Harry, I promise to keep your memory and to tell your story.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
Is that something for you to remember us by?
Thank you so much.